Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to North Shore 9 podcast presented by FanDuel. This is the emergency podcast show because the Pirates have made another move. The winter of Ben continues. Neil, you're looking very chilly over there. But yes,
I am freezing. The winter of Ben is getting colder and colder. I had to bundle up.
this is nuts. So we've had the trade for the password before the winter meetings. During the winter meetings, the Pirates sign lefty reliever. Then they go ahead and make a trade last week for 3 players with the Rays. And then right now on December 23rd, Ben Cherington has acquired not only a pretty solid bat, a first base outfielder in Ryan O'Hearn, but it was a 2-year, $20 million deal, a multiple-year contract.
Yeah.
That has happened.
Ivan Nova, thank you for your service.
Appreciate it, but time to move on. We have a new multi-year free player in Pittsburgh now, Ryan O'Hearn. Now, listen, I want to set this up first. You know, it's, again, 2 years, $29 million. We've walked into this offseason hearing a lot of noise. The Pirates are in on this player. They're in on that player. Oh, they just missed out on Josh Naylor. Oh, they're in on Kyle Schwarber. They just missed out. Talk. Let's see when the walk happens, right? Again, they made a trade last week for Brandon Lowe, the big bat, and then they follow that up with a 2-year, $29 million deal for Ryan O'Hearn. They seem to be walking the walk right now, Neil.
Yeah, I mean, they are moving. They're moving fast. They've done more this week in terms of adding MLB talent to this team than they have probably in the last 5 years being in charge of this team. They've thrown money around. They've added payroll. This is exciting stuff. It's like they heard Steven Nesbitt on the point, hearing about how they can't hit right-handed pitching, and they're like, he's right. We're going to go at, and then they added 2 guys who mash righty pitching. So really cool stuff. O'Hearn is a wonderful get. He plays multiple positions. He can do, he hits with power. I love this move. And it's affordable. Considering what he does, $14 million a year is nothing. This is a great move.
Yeah. I mean, it fits to their price point. I don't know. I mean, with payroll, we're looking at close to the 90 million mark now. I don't know exactly how this shapes out the rest. Like, if there are moves coming, if this still means Mitch Keller could be on the outs and they supplement with another pitcher. Hey, there's still stuff to happen. All I do know is they added 2 big bats. Again, Brandon Lowe, a lefty, and now they add another lefty in Ryan O'Hearn. Now, he's a little bit different. Now, he doesn't come with the same type of power. He still hit 17 home runs last year. You know, it's not as if he's just a contact hitter, but he does hit for good average. He gets on base. Like, to me, I always said, like, he's almost like a supercharged Spencer Horwitz. And I'll take that all day long. Again, like, you just need hitters on this team. And this guy is just, he's point blank a hitter. You can't double him as a pure contact guy. You can't double him as like a pure power guy. This guy just goes up to the plate and gives you good, solid production. I mean, last year, a 127 weighted runs created plus easily would have been the best Pirates hitter last year, and a 3-WAR player last year who does also play outfield, first base, DH. So you talk about the flexibilities position-wise. This also kind of makes me wonder and think. I mean, O'Neill Cruz in center, obviously. Brian Reynolds in right. Maybe a platoon in left. Maybe, I don't know, maybe looking at that like, hey, here's 3 outfielders. Also, maybe just like, this gives Brian Reynolds maybe some more days off, and he's going into the DH. Maybe they're supplementing a DH as like a rotating spot. A lot of possibilities with this, like you're mentioning.
Yeah. Well, it's a nice difference from last year or the last couple of years where they would have a lot of flexibility. You'd always hear how they wanted like all their guys to play like 2 or 3 positions, but these guys are actually good. And so you're not terribly upset that they're going to be playing multiple days. Like, I don't think O'Hearn's going to play all that much outfield, but like, this is like, it's a good way. Like, give Reynolds a day off, give Horowitz a day off at first, so on and so forth. Like, keep the legs fresh, keep the bats moving. And again, these are like actual MLB good players. I mean, O'Hearn, since 2023 has just been a great player. Like 120 OPS plus hitter over the last 3 years. So he automatically walks in and is your second best, third best hitter in the lineup, probably Lau's first. Then he's probably competing there with Reynolds. And so no, it fits perfectly. It allows Don Kelly to get flexible with the lineups in a way that that actually will result in wins and not just, oh, we have to play these guys because they're here. And that's a big change because it used to be you had, Hoy Park playing right field. So
don't stop it. Stop. Get that out of our heads. We're not talking about Hoy Park on this show. But you're 100% correct. I mean, these are real options too. This lineup now is starting to become very formidable. You have some power here. You have some differences, things people do differently and whatnot. And it's also like giving like solid protection. I mean, again, O'Neal Cruz had a terrible year. Brian Reynolds had a down year, and at least it bounced back, and he looked more like himself second half. But those are the only two batters that you would kind of fear in that lineup. Okay, I'll add Spencer Horwitz there. I mean, he had a big second half also. He did his job. First half he was injured for a bit, came back. But like those are like the only three hitters in that lineup that you pretty much said, okay, I gotta kind of notice him. And if that's it, you don't really have to give them stuff because they're not scoring any runs, which they didn't. Now you add in two other guys, and it's like, okay, now this lineup is getting deeper. And hey, maybe this is also going to help out your Brian Reynolds, your Spencer Horwitz, your O'Neal Cruz to get back to where they could and should be hitting in that form. So yeah, like this lineup now is solid. It's not complete. It's not scaring anybody, right? Like I don't think any pitcher's going, oh, I gotta face the Pirates on this series. Okay, watch out. But they're not this isn't the one that's gonna lay down and give you just one or two runs a night. Like now, okay, there's a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, and you're missing one or two right-handed bats. If they want to stretch for Okamoto, I don't know if the payroll is now this is gonna be open for that, if they're gonna be available to do that. But like right-handed hitting is a must. This is a very lefty heavy lineup, which is fine because again, we were so bad against right-handed pitching that we probably needed to overcorrect into this direction anyway. But you do need situations where you're coming in and be able to hit lefty relievers. And so there are other options, like you have Alec Boehm if you really want to go get him from the Phillies. Like there are right-handed bats that aren't terrible that might really like bolster this lineup. But yeah, like it is no longer praying to God Brian Reynolds and O'Neal Cruz do something. You don't have Cabrian Hayes hitting fifth. You don't have Alexander Canario batting cleanup. You now happen to have a group of guys who, at the very least, if they all play well, are like going to be a league average lineup. And that's what you need to be a playoff team. I know on our last emergency podcast, you said they just need to not be bad. I disagree. The NL is a really good league. They need to be at least an average offense or close to it. And so they need to keep going. Adding Lowe, great. Adding O'Hearn, fantastic. Like those two are huge adds. Now you need to keep going. You need to keep adding. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how much payroll is there, but this is a good start and you got ahead of it. You got here early. So now you have a lot of time to fill in the rest of the lineup.
For sure. I guess like what I want to add to that, like when I say they can't be bad, they just need to be below average. I mean, let's look at St. Louis had a 96 weighted runs created plus. Kansas City Royals had a 93. Okay, actually, maybe that's not the best thing. Go back to like the 13, 14, 15 Pirates. Like the pitching was strong. They never had a plus offense until the 15 year. This team doesn't need to have a power lineup with the pitching that they have. So again, they need to increase that floor. They need to get, I mean, yes, of course, the goal is to be good. If they have a good lineup, that'll certainly help and ensure they're in the playoffs. But they really only need to be close to average and probably a little bit below average so you actually can talk about contention. Because again, we talk about this pitching staff. I mean, Paul Skeens could be the MVP next year as well as the Cy Young. Like that's how good of a pitcher he is. And then you just go down the list. Bubba Chan, we know how good he is and whatnot. So like they just have to add some competent bats. I mean, just think about the last 3 years, 76, 76, 72. Like they're not that far away. The pitching got even better. So yes, some competent bats will help. And again, with Ryan O'Hearn, that's exactly what he brings. It's very competent, very, very competent. And I know it's just 1 year. This kind of helped him a bit. Historically, he's not, but he actually hit lefties and righties well last year. To a tune of a 138 weighted runs created plus against lefties and 125 versus righties. So again, like when it comes to this signing, I love it. I love it. I mean, this guy's clearly in his prime. He's really hit his stride since going to Kansas City. I'm sorry, going to Baltimore from Kansas City. Finished the year last year with San Diego in the trade. And right, like the fact that he plays first base. I mean, Spencer Horwitz is there, but he plays it. He plays right field. He can DH. So they're going to be able to maneuver lineups like you've spoken of, but in a meaningful way.
Yeah. And obviously, like, there's always something that clicked when he went to Baltimore because he was kind of a terrible player in Kansas City and has really, really picked it up. And I would say that at the very least, Camden, at least for me, seems like a pretty similar park to PNC. A little bit of a wall, but a short porch. And so I do think that like the park should play to his strengths. He's a pole hitter. Again, it's kind of like doubling down with Lowe. Like again, for a team that was so deficient in power, even if you only get like 20 home runs ish, that's all you need from him. Like 800 OPS, 20 home runs. Like that is, you don't need him to be a superstar. You're not paying him like a superstar, but like these are the types of moves that the Pirates should be making every single year. Getting power in, getting cheap power in, because in this market, again, I think $14 million a year for a guy like O'Hearn and how he's performed over the last 2 years or 3 years even, this is a no-brainer. This was easy, and I'm happy they got it done. Like, I was even concerned the Ryan O'Hearns of the world weren't going to want to sign here. So it was great. Like, this is a really big step that, like, we're even getting competent free agents in the door on multi-year deals. Like, Cherington has been here for, 7 years? This is year 7?
Year 7. The winner of Ben, year 7.
Winner of Ben. Yeah, the winner of Ben has changed it all. But we finally got one multi-year free agent, and got to keep going. But I love – there's not really anything to hate.
No, you really cannot. And honestly, this entire offseason, I mean, you understand, you know where we come from. There's been a lot of things that we haven't liked with this franchise, the direction they've gone and such. There has not been a complaint. I don't think you really can, all in all, what they've done and how they've progressed. Again, there's a lot of concerns. Like, are they really going to do what they're talking about? And they're starting to show that, yes, that is the answer. Now, we're not there yet, and like I said, from the day one, I don't think you can really grade this offseason until it's complete. But so far, the trajectory, so far what they have done, I can't complain about a thing. Yeah, you have depleted a little bit of that pitching strength, but they've done it all with keeping Mitch Keller. And again, as I keep stressing here, I didn't think they'd be able to do it with keeping him. Burroughs, he's attractive. He's a young pitcher, lots of years of control. There's a lot of upside with him, but ultimately, I felt like the best case scenario, he becomes a Mitch Keller. You trade him, you got a Brandon Lowe, you got a very interesting reliever, and right now, the way it looks, potentially like a fourth outfielder, plays great defense all around. He hits for a good contact. He does things differently, right? Could be a callous in some ways. Also, like 5 years of control. And then you go out and sign this guy so you don't give up any pitching resources and get another bat in here also. I have absolutely no complaints. Honestly, 2023, that year and that offseason when they brought in Carlos Santana, Kutchback, right? Like that, Rich Hill, like that was like the best offseason I felt Ben Cherington had, which is sad to some degree. But right now, honestly,
it wasn't a good offseason.
He's
out of this one.
I don't want to say the word killing it, but he's doing a very good job so far. Like, this is what needs to be done.
Obviously, it's not done yet, but like I think if like you went down the league and see like who made what move so far, this would be a top 10, if not a top 5 offseason so far. Just in terms of talent brought in and addressing holes. Like most teams have been moving very slowly. The Pirates, for once in their lives, have become aggressive. And so, like, I think that it has been an excellent offseason in every asset. And like, again, we used to complain about, we always, like, every emergency pod for the last, like, what, 3 years, there's always been that caveat. This is okay until the moves come. And that statement used to make me so angry because I'm like, don't you know it's not going to happen?
Right.
But like all of these moves in of themselves fit, they make sense, they actively make us better. And so, yeah, like this is, like, I can't believe I'm saying this. I had zero expectations, but this has been an A plus offseason so far, in my
It
opinion.
it has.
Like,
And
yeah.
like it's also being looked at nationally. Let's go back. I mean, FanDuel, the odds of the Pirates winning the NL, I think the NL, right, was 12 plus 12,000. They made the Lau sign or trade. It's 10,000. As of right now, we're officially at 8,000. Now, there's a long jump to get to Arizona next, but everyone's looking. I mean, they're becoming better. It's clear. And like you said about the offseason, I think the big part too is the fact that because the offseason is not done yet. So far, they're probably like a top 10. I think that's fair, but it's also because they are doing moves. And you said something last week, like it's nice that they're doing things early. And I said, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe this was happening like during winter meetings, I could say early. Maybe it's more on time is the way I looked at it. But now, like the totality, like another move happened. Like, they actually have made a plethora of moves all before 2026, right? All before Christmas, really. They've traded for 2 hitters. Well, they made 2 trades dealing with hitters. One was a prospect in Garcia. I get it, but still, that's interesting. They added a lefty reliever in Soto, and they added this bat in O'Hearn today. So like they've made 4 moves that arguably help out for this year, but also in the future.
Yeah.
That's for baseball, for a single baseball team in this new age of baseball off seasons. That actually is quite a bit.
Yeah. And it's clear that the fire was lit under some guys in the front office this offseason. I don't know if they were told, like, if results don't happen this year, you're canned, which would be a fair. We've been calling for him to be canned, for 4 years? I have for
Right.
4 years at this rate. But I also think, like, it will also just, like, help that we have even guys like Brandon, like O'Hearn, Mangum, Lau, like adding these guys. If you want to start Connor Griffin off at shortstop to start the year, which I think they should do, I don't think you're really going to find a good shortstop on the market. You might be bringing like Orlando Arcia, but like even then, I'm not too thrilled about that. This allows you to put him in a lineup and not expect him to be the guy right away. We talk about lineup protection for Cruz and Reynolds, and I think this is great, where Cruz could even be like your 5th or 6th best piece, which I think he should shine at. He's not expected to be the guy. He has protection. Now I think it'll help Griffin out too. Like Griffin can come in, be with vets, be with guys who can play, and not have to be the dude who immediately comes in as the star. Because I don't know if that's realistic. I don't think it is. I love Connor Griffin, but like you need to give him some time to adjust, and this gives him the time to adjust.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that. You like Connor Griffin does not have to come up and be the savior. A lot of weight is lifted on his shoulders. Like, hey, Connor, just come up, worry about you, worry about adjusting. We'll handle it. It's not as if like, hey, our hopes are on you, kid, at age 19. So you are correct in that. And again, like for Cruz, like maybe this allows Cruz to say, hey, oh no, just go out there and be you. Just go do what you got to do. It's not on your shoulders either. You don't have to go hit 40 home runs and install 40 stolen bases to make this team even somewhat competent. You don't have to try harder than what's needed. And again, he's going to have more protection, so he might see better pitches. He doesn't have to constantly chase outside the zone to try to do something, So again, I just like what Ben's doing with this lineup. I mean, they said out there that they're out there. They need hitters. They're in on everybody. We laughed at it a little bit, but it kind of showed like, yeah, like we're on everybody because we know that if you go out and try for 100 free agents, you're probably going to land 4 of them. And we need 4. So we have to be on 100 of them. And that's kind of what they did. It's like, hey, if you're a hitter, we want you. What 4% of you want to be with us? And they're finding it. So again, there's still work to be done. Yes, third base, I think, is still something that needs to be addressed. Ideally, I think, right, you have a third baseman. And yes, you're hopeful Connor can start the year off. But I've always said too as well, like the way with Jared Chiolo plays and such, I'm perfectly fine if he's the solution at shortstop for now. If they're going to wait to call up Connor because you've solidified third base, right? Like, what if they go out and get a free agent or a trade piece? They have third base, they have all this lineup protection around them. They've done what they've done so far. And maybe Connor doesn't go into spring training just killing it. And they say, okay, let's give you some time at AAA. We'll call you up in May, whatever it is. I'm fine with Jared Chiolo being the stopgap at stopgap at shortstop. You know what I mean? So again, like, I don't think they should have any resources devoted to shortstop this year. It's Jared Chiolo and Connor Griffin. And if Connor Griffin starts on day one, you have Jared Chiolo as a super utility. Like, that puts him in, I think, his best situation. So I do think this team it's really close. I think if they go out there and they get a third baseman, one of some legitimacy, maybe it's Okamoto, maybe it's a trade like a Bohm or something. I don't know what it is, but if they get a third baseman, they sit there and say, you know what? Now that pushes like a Jared Chiolo, a super utility type of guy. They're there. They're like mission complete.
And like we talk about Triolo, and it's like he is best when he hits lefties. Like, that is his job as an offensive guy. Like, when he hits lefties, he hits. And so even like he can be a super utility guy against lefties, and I think you're going to have a really, really good, competent player. He's going to get plenty of bats while never like being a full-time starter, and that's just not who he is. But the fact that you're actually carving a spot out for Triolo instead of depending on him to play 150 games next year is huge. Because I feel like that's the conversation with a lot of these guys, where maybe had it with Connor Joe, Jared Triolo, so on and so forth. Like, these guys who are good in a role, and then injuries or players being bad, they have to go outside of that role, and they get worse because they're not everyday players, and that's okay.
Right.
And so, but now you're going to be able to use them in their proper role with guys like O'Hearn, because O'Hearn can play every day. Lau, when he's healthy, will play every day. Reynolds will play every day. Like, hopefully Connor Griffin comes up and plays every day, like right away. That is what I want to see. I want to see Jared Triolo 3 times a week, 4 times a week against lefties as a defensive sub, and then we're golden. Yeah. And it helps out Connor Griffin. It gives our rest to our veterans. Like, we are finally building somewhat of a complete lineup, and we're not there. We're not there yet. I think you need a lefty starter, and I think you need another bat, probably at third base. And it has to be a right-handed bat. Like, we're so left, but we are in a good spot considering it's about Christmas time, and catchers and pitchers don't report for another 2 months. It gives us a lot of time to figure out what we need to do.
100%. 100%. And I know that's some people's, worry at this point in time. Like, it's another lefty. Where's the righty? Again, when it comes down to it, this team can't be picky, right? They can't really be choosers. They need them to come in when they can. But I think now at this point in time, I think like the big lefty bats, like, okay, complete. And hopefully there is another addition, like it is a righty bat, and of course it is at third base, which obviously that's typically going to be the case anyways. So, but yes. I mean, I think again, right now at this point in time, when they got Lau, a lot of excitement. Like, that's a legit hitter. This team, maybe they are serious. And I'm not saying this was the catalyst to making this O'Hearn deal happen, but we also talked that this team probably needs to make a trade. What free agent is going to say, I'll be the first to come over here to Pittsburgh? Probably not. Like, they're probably hesitant. So now making that trade they did last week, maybe O'Hearn says, okay, you know what? You guys are serious. I have an interest here. I see an opportunity. I would love to play and be part of something, but you need to show me that you want to be part of something as well. And Ben Cherington said, okay, here's Brandon Lowe, here's Mangum, here's Montgomery. We've already signed Garcia. We've added Soto. Like, we are for real. If you come, now look what's happening. And O'Hearn said, you know what? Let's do it. And he signed away. Again, I'm not sure that's exactly what happened, but I anticipate that's probably what's going to need to be done. And here we are.
It helped. Yeah. And like, it always sucks. Like when you, as a Pirates fan, like you always you get ragged on a lot. It's like when you see national media guys talking about how the Pirates aren't serious. No one wants to come here. Like, that was a big thing happening up until the Lau trade. It was earned. Like, again, it's absurd that this is the first multi-year deal in a decade. But you have to keep this momentum going now. So you have to start trading for guys like Lau. You need to start signing guys like O'Hearn. And that's how you start getting free agents in the door. You start small. You might even have to overpay for a guy like what the Nationals did with Jason Worth. You know, like you might have to do that. But at least we're taking those steps. And we didn't used to before. And whether that's whether or not it's because the MLB stepped in and said, Bob, if you don't start spending, we're gonna run you out of here, which is a distinct possibility. We got the CBA coming up. Whatever reason why it happened, you can't let up now. You have to keep going with this.
Yes. So we do know Okamoto has to sign by January 4th. Mm-hmm. Is he next? Is he the guy? There's been a lot of smoke to that as well. There's been a lot of Pirates are linked. National writers are saying that there's certainly a possibility. And, we've heard from Colin Beasley that they've had multiple virtual meetings with him. Is that the next chip? And if so, does that make you feel like this is the team?
If we got another above average bat into the point that we're now rostering 7 or so guys who are good offensive players, I would say this is a playoff team. Yes. Injuries barring injury. But the pitching talent is there. I still think you should go bring in one more veteran to help ease the load of all these rookies we have in the lineup and recovering Jared Jones. But we're on the cusp, and the NL Central isn't good. The Cubs and the Brewers are the best teams, and they're not doing too much in free agency. The Brewers are trying to sell up Freddie Peralta. You should be able to beat those guys with Paul Skeens and Bubba Chandler anchoring your rotation.
Yeah.
And so the offense hopefully is good enough to match those guys.
Yep. So the one thing, again, I'm interested. I don't know what the plan is, but this puts them basically at $93 million with this deal. So I do wonder, and I am curious if there's a next move coming, if they do intend on extending themselves into the 100 million range for payroll, because, we've talked about and heard it's probably going to be the same, which is 93, but there's been a rumor out there hey, you know what? They may extend themselves to the 110 range. Sign an Okamoto pretty much ensures that, signing another big deal is going, even if trading for a Bohm, that's $10 million contract plus, adding another big bat is certainly going to put themselves there. So I'm still curious on how Mitch Keller plays into things if they do go that route. Something to keep an eye on as of right now, just to put out there again, they are right about the $93 million range. But this team is absolutely better today than they were last year at that $93 million range. I'll certainly say that. So, when you discussed about the moves that happened last year, it was to clear salary so they can go and reinvest them. They have done that. They have reinvested. At this point in time today, they have reinvested everything they cleared off. They are a better team. Are they willing to do more? That's what we got to see next. That's what I'm interested in as well.
I am too. And even if you can't get much more payroll investment, so let's say this takes us out of Okamoto. Even I think we're one of the finalists for them, mostly because all the other teams in that stratosphere are going for Bo Bichette or Kyle Tucker, which
or Bregman,
which happens to help us.
Right.
If we don't get him, there are still options. You could go after a Kobe Mayo from Baltimore. He's going to be making MLB minimum if you want to take a swing on a former top prospect. I could see a world where they just get Quintana, get to 100 million, and then go from there, and just try to make some savvy trades. But even if that's the case, you still feel much better about this team, and I don't know. Maybe my expectations are so low that I'm just whatever. You've given me excitement in this offseason, but there is a world where if you get another lefty starter and this could be a playoff team. I don't think we're quite there yet, unless Griffin goes supernova from the jump. But it gives us a better shot.
I'm with you. You can if they stopped here, you can see a path, but it's not certain yet. I'm not willing to say this is a playoff team and they have to be a playoff team this year. They have to.
Yeah.
So yes, I anticipate some more coming. I'm interested to see what those will be and how they'll come, and what that does to the payroll. But so far, all good, all good. No complaints. What's happening? they are putting up. They're actually backing up the words. They're literally cashing checks, and figuratively. So it's good to see. It's good to see they're actually doing what they said they're going to do. Let's keep it going. I'm ready to do another emergency podcast sometime between now and maybe January 4th.
Yeah, if we get Okamoto, like I will be ascending. Like that's just like when was the last time like ever we brought in like 3 bats of those level in one off season? I don't think
not in my lifetime.
Yeah, I don't think Neil did that, and Neil did a lot of good work, but he also poor Neil wasn't given the money to spend like this either. So
right, for sure. So good stuff. We'll be back. We'll have, of course, Sicko Sound Off on Friday. That's where you guys can join either myself, Tyler, someone will be hosting it. I think we again will understand what that theme's going to be about. But yeah, you guys want something to say? Friday, 8:00, Sicko Sound Off. That's where your voice comes in. You guys can come on. You can debate us. You can say whatever's on your mind. Fun stuff. Jake Mangum, just had him on. We'll be releasing that podcast tomorrow. So get to know Jake Mangum. That'll be tomorrow at 10:00. That'll be for members soon. That'll be up for members soon. So if you are a member of our NS9 YouTube channel, you'll be able to get to see that soon. And if you're not, just 99 cents a month gets you to be a member. You get cool emojis and whatnot also. So yeah, there's still stuff happening. We said no NS9 Live because it's Christmas Eve, and we were blessed with shows and content to give you anyways. So here you are, everyone. I'm excited. Neil's excited. Any last words for you? I'm excited.
Just keep going. Can't believe my life.
Can't believe my life. Yes.
I will say, because Ryan brought this up on Twitter, the one negative thing about this is that we might have to endure Greg Brown Irish calls when Ryan O'Hearn hits home runs, and I don't know if I'm ready for that again.
You know what? If this is what it takes, if it takes for Greg Brown to say Irish calls to make this team a playoff team, I don't care what Greg says. As long as it doesn't get him fired. Say whatever you want, Greg. Let's get to the playoffs. I don't care who you bring in, what their names are. I mean, we have all kinds of crazy names so far. So keep them coming. Keep them coming. But yes, like, subscribe, hype the video if you can as well. We love you all. We'll be back again tomorrow morning, 10:00, Jake Mangum. And then Friday, 8 p.m., we'll have Sicko Sound Off. We'll see you guys there. Bye-bye.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.